Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Eric Tilson Show, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Huskies. As always, I'm joined here by Huskies head coach Eric Tilson. Coach, how you doing this evening?
I'm flat out exhausted.
It's been a wild ride so far this season, and it has been a wild ride this week for you. And the bad news is it's only Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
So you had a game on Monday, and then you have to turn around and play a game on Friday too. I know that's got to affect you somehow. We'll get into that a little bit also, but let's jump into the Cumberland Gap fiasco between scheduling it for Friday night, then it becomes a torrential downpour, then trying to figure out when to reschedule it, then finally getting to play on Monday night, and then getting to finish the game, and then realizing you have to turn around to Friday. Take me through the emotions of the last 3 or 4 days that you've had.
Well, Friday we were kind of looking at the weather all day, and of course I had the smart idea of talking about Greenville a bit. That kind of joking around is like, man, are they ever going to finish a game? And then I should not have said anything at all. We started looking at the weather. We're like, dang, it may happen to us. So we get down here, and of course we'll play in weather, water, rain, don't matter. But lightning comes out, then we got to play, and that was the main problem. And then all of a sudden, like, the storm came right over top of Bayleton. Winds were pushing back, and it just stayed. Mm-hmm. And we actually had some real bad flash flooding on Friday night too. So, well, talking to their coach, they were already going to come back for a JV game on Monday. We had already scheduled a JV game at 7 o'clock, so we're just like, hey, like, they got younger kids, we have younger kids, most of our kids play JV, most of their kids, so it's like, hey, let's just go ahead and play it Monday because we're already going to be here. So instead of trying to schedule it on a Saturday, because people don't realize how much goes into the game day operation and getting people here, and we wouldn't have been able to play over the weekend. So we already had things set up, lined up, ready to go with officials, with gatekeepers, with all the essential pieces that you don't see were already in place for Monday. So that's why we made that decision for playing Monday.
That's a smart idea. I really didn't think of that too, how you usually have JV scheduled for Monday so that you can just push that back. Saturday, was there any discussion to have it Saturday night because of what happened Saturday night with another storm?
Not really, because when we were looking at the weather, I mean, there was a chance of
the same exact thing. That's what
again, and I mean, at the end of the day, it would have probably benefited us because they would have had to travel back again. A lot of traveling for them. But at the end of the day, it's about kids, about putting. I mean, it would have felt unearned if we put them in a bad spot like that. And so we didn't really discuss Saturday a whole lot. Sunday's off the table. Then Monday was about the best option we had.
So you got the game in. You were able to play last night, 7 p.m. kickoff time. Take me through the entire game. It was a very up and down game for you guys. I think 5 turnovers ended up costing you in the end. But you had a lot of bright moments on offense, and you had some good moments on defense too. I think 2 forced fumbles. You had a stop in the red zone. Take me through the emotions of the game last night too.
It was an emotional roller coaster. Came out flat. Just needed to settle in. First time seeing that offense live, and the misdirection got to a couple of our kids, and that was one of the things. Was even sitting on the sideline, you couldn't tell who had the ball. Got 2 dudes tackling somebody over here, 3 dudes over there tackling somebody. So, and then they sneaked one right through the A gap, ran right by one of our guys, and it just he bit on something else, and they were able to sneak through. And it's one of those that, by the time they're passed by that guy who's responsible for that gap, then there's nobody behind. So that's one thing defensively is all defenses are gap sound, and when ball runs through your gap, you've got to tackle it. We had one guy to cover behind our secondary contain guy, and he had the same thing. That fake misdirection bit him one way, ran right by us. That happened twice, and then we finally start settling in there towards the end, and then minus a couple big pass plays, and then that's kind of been the big key this year. Is we've been preaching just not worrying about anybody else's job, it's just doing your job. So, and that's a hard thing to do as a kid.
Let's talk about special teams a little bit. Braden Weems had a heck of a day on special teams. He had 2 big returns. First one went 54 yards, second one went 67 yards. That really sets you up with greener grass down on their side of the field. I don't know if I've seen a big breakaway run from him this year, but the way that he runs really benefits a lot too, because he really waits on his blockers before he makes his moves and gets downfield.
He's got some pretty good natural vision on that return. He's had a lot of good returns this year. We're going to have to start moving him around a little bit back there, or else people will stop kicking it to him. So we'll have to find a way to get him the ball continually back there. So he had some pretty. One of them, probably a good thing, he dropped the return, then picked it up and started running. Kind of settled out. That's a big thing, is being patient. See, for us, for a long time on kickoff return, we've been a big double team, like a lot of double teams, wedges, and then, of course, as the rules start changing, you have to get away from double teams, and we've been a lot more single block type, and just getting a body on a body and just getting in the way. And that's really benefited us this year, just allowing some space and just us to be able to see color and grass. And those guys back there have done a pretty good job on the return unit.
It was funny, the video that I got of the first return. You see him on that side of the field, and he's just snaking between defenders. Like, it's you don't think that actually happens in real life. You just think you see it on video games where you just weave around the defenders. But that's exactly what he was doing to go around them before he gained the outside edge.
I had just watched that, because this is another weird thing with this week. Is it's Tuesday, and I'm just now watching the game film from last night. And right before he came in, I was watching that play. And our guys that were blocking up front did a good job. And the reason he was able to weave in and out is because our butt is to the returner. So he's able to get inside of a block, get inside of another block. So it looks like he's juking defenders, but it had a lot to do with our blocking up front. So those guys on the return unit, the front line, our freshmen and sophomore guys that get their chance to play varsity football, did a good job on that unit.
And that's one thing I've heard you preach about before, is waiting for your blockers and being patient in the backfield. And that's the first time I think I'd really noticed it before, because with Yeshua on offense, I don't really get to see it because I'm facing towards your offense,
yes.
So I don't get to see that. But being able to watch that on a kickoff return was pretty special to actually see that happen. And speaking of Yeshua, big night for him.
Yes.
He was mowing over defenders everywhere. He had 15 carries, 183 yards, made his way into the end zone for a score, and had another special record that he was able to set. Also, I'll let you lead into that, but talk about his special night against Gap.
I mean, he had something to prove last night, and he went after it. He ran the ball really hard, really well. I couldn't tell you what his yards after contact were. So he was a very physical blocker, and he set our school rushing record last night. The previous record was 1780, held by his uncle Gabe Vaught. So it was special for Yeshua to be able to break that on our home field. He's up to 1864
and counting.
And it was a big night. He needed 99 last night to do it, and he
obliterated that.
Yeah, so he did a great job with that.
So I think we got something special here on the Eric Tilson Show now. I think this is the first guest we've had on screen now. We've got North Greene Junior running back Yeshua Vaught here with us, Coach. Or I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying Coach. Yeshua,
Yeah.
How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good.
It's a weird week. How are you kind of adjusting to this so far? Playing on Monday and then turning around to play again on Friday.
Well, I mean, it's very weird playing on Monday. I'm kind of banged up a little bit, but I guess I'm gonna try to rest and recover, and I'm just gonna go out and play my game Friday. I mean, that's all I can do. Try to get this team a win.
It was a very special night for you on Monday night. We mentioned that on the show just a few seconds ago, how last night not only did you have 15 carries for 183 yards and a touchdown, which is probably one of the best games stat-wise that you've had in a North Greene uniform, but you set something special that's not been done in a North Greene uniform in a long time, and that set the new career mark for rushing yards, breaking your uncle's record.
Yes, sir.
So there's a lot of rushing yards in that family. With the new record of 1,864 career yards so far through your junior season, Tell me, how does that feel for you?
I mean, it feels amazing. I've been waiting to beat that record for like half of my life, and me and my uncle been just trash talking each other, saying I'm not gonna get it, but he knew I was gonna get it, but he's just trying to motivate me. But I mean, it's something special, and I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna try to destroy it even more.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I didn't mention that I kind of want to mention too. You have the record 4 games through your junior season. That record might get obliterated to the point where you might double your uncle's record. So, what kind of bragging rights go into that where you can talk about possibly doubling your uncle's record now?
I don't know. Usually, sometimes when we like have a family cookout or whatever, I'll be like, "I'm the best boy," and he'll be like, "No, that's me." I'll be like, "But I'm about to double your record." So, and we just go back and forth. But I don't know. He's really proud of me, but he's helped me a lot through this process.
It's definitely possible for you to double it now. I think that's something that you'd like to see happen just so you can have those bragging rights forever. Because nothing can take that away if you have those bragging rights forever, especially doubling that record too.
Yeah.
But talk about the preparation that you put into last night's game too. What did you see on their defense that was able to allow you to break through those holes and go for long yardage?
Well, their linebackers, I mean, they play decent, okay, but like their hip movement and everything, like a lot of times when I run, I'll read the linebackers' hips or some of the linemen, and I'll try to get through that gap, make my cuts right and everything. But, I guess, I don't know. I don't think they were really prepared for me. I guess they didn't prepare themselves enough. But, I'm just going out there to play my game and trying to get this team to win. But, I mean, I know it didn't happen last night, but we'll come back this week, try to correct those things.
And with any successful running back, you need to have a good O-line too. Talk about your O-line and how much they set you up for good yardage every time.
I mean, the O-line compared to last season to this season, I mean, it's amazing. Coach Vaughn's come into this program and helped them out a lot, so is Coach Tilson. And, I'm proud of them. I mean, I couldn't really do it without them. I couldn't get those yards or anything, so shout out to my linemen.
Once again, congratulations on the new record. Apologize for calling you coach as soon as you sat down too, but we got Yeshua Vaught here with us. Congratulations on the new record. Once again, 1,864 yards and counting going forward. We'll go back to the interview with Coach Tilson.
And he gave us a chance to win that ball game, even late towards the end, giving us a chance to go down. And again, what people got to realize is like we're in our next phase of building the program. What we talked about earlier before the cameras were rolling is we're in the phase now where you're in these top ball games and you have to learn how to win those ball games. And that takes a lot of introspection. That takes a lot of work to move to that next step, and that's where a lot of people get hung up. And we're in that phase right now, is learning how to win those close ball games. But I'd have to ask a lot of people when's the last time we've really been in a lot of top ball games. So we're now in those ball games now, and we got to continue to fight through. So and he gives us a good shot of doing that because he plays so hard. Even when he makes a wrong cut or he goes to the wrong gap on defense, he plays so physical and so hard he can overcome it. And we talk about it all the time on defense. You can overcome almost anything except the deep ball with a relentless effort and physicality.
And he had a great night on defense too.
Yeah, so we kind of moved him all over the place based on team need. So we're very pleased with him.
And 2 other players, too, that you have to talk about on offense, Thomas Darnell and Grayson Collins. I got it right on Twitter this time. I don't know if you saw that. Thomas Darnell delivered the pass to Grayson Collins right over the middle. I don't know if it was a slant route or just a 5-yard in, but Grayson caught it over the middle, broke one tackle, outran the other to the pylon. That one puts you back in it to get it within a 3-point game with less than, I think, 4 or 5 minutes left to go.
I think it's 5:03.
Yes, I think you're right, because you had the touchdown by Yeshua with, I think, 7:07, and then that one was with 5:03. So you had 2 big plays from them. You had the touchdown from Grayson, and then Thomas also got your first touchdown on the board with that one run up the middle, or that 1-yard run up the middle.
Darnell starting to settle into his own at quarterback. He's starting to figure out the position. He's learning the position pretty well. So there's a lot of things he needs to grow as a quarterback, having to move to the position, but having Grayson out there is a pretty big target for him, especially when he can take a slant to the house in a key moment like that. So he's a big, tall guy back there, is able to see, and he's got a really good arm. We just got to hone that in a little bit, help him settle down, and I think he'll tremendously improve every week from here on out as we go forward.
And on that tweet too, I might have gotten it right from Thomas to Grayson. I misspelled Colton's name. Colton, I'm sorry. It's O-N, not E-N. I just realized that this morning when I was looking back through it preparing for this. Another big player that could take any route to the end zone that made a few key plays down the stretch, Jake Duffy. He had a big play where he catches it over the middle. He hit a big play where he catches it over the middle, full extension grab that I think was on third down that extended the drive for you. Talk about his night.
I mean, he's all over the place with us. He blocks well for us. He's big on our counters and catches the ball well on these verticals and routes that are over top of the ball. So especially offensively and defensively, he's our fix-it guy back at safety. So he's back here because he's got great vision and he's a pretty sure tackler. So when balls do leak, he's pretty good about being able to clean up. And daggum, you got a safety back at 8 to 10 yards, and he's getting tackles for losses when he reads stuff that comes right off the edge. I mean, that's pretty special to be able to do that. So definitely pleased with his night. And I mean, we ask a lot out of him. So special teams, he's our holder, which is a hard job to do.
Notice that.
He's our returner, both punt and kick return. He's our he's on our kickoff unit. He's on everything. So I don't think he really ever comes off the field.
That was going to lead into my next question. Does he actually play every single snap of the game? And by the sounds of it, he does. If he's holding, if he's returning, and if he's playing offense and defense, he might get every snap of a game.
Oh, he very well does. I think he may have not played 2 plays. Quite literally 2 plays.
All game?
All game, just
Wow.
because we didn't get a break off of a kickoff.
Wow.
So
that's pretty special.
Pretty special stuff for sure.
But it's a weird week again.
Yep.
You're going to have – I don't know what's up with high school football this year, but 2023 is just about as weird as 2020 was, honestly.
In terms of cancellations and stuff, it's
Yes.
been an odd year.
Yes, you're not used to that in a normal setting within the world, but you go into a very, very short week this week. You've got a game on Friday night, a game that you've got to prepare to hit the road for. It's a regional opponent. It'll be Hancock County. We'll go ahead and preview that after the break, but we got to get a few messages on the screen. So we'll be right back in just a minute here on Grassroots Media.
Pizza, pancakes, or donuts, the Davy Crockett Travel Center in Baileyton has the cure for all your cravings. While you're there, shop our general store for souvenirs, gifts, and cellular accessories. In a hurry, grab a cold drink and a hot dog to go. Check us out on Facebook and come to Baileyton.
At Corner Pond, the friendly and knowledgeable staff has the experience necessary to help you out regardless the need. Have an item of value you'd like to pawn or sell? Corner Pond can help. They pawn numerous items of value, including firearms, tools, ammunition, silver, coins, and much more. When you walk through their doors, you'll find well-stocked shelves full of electronics, gaming systems, fishing and hunting equipment, car audio and accessories. And don't forget about the room full of guitars and basses and amplifiers, or their outside lawn and garden equipment. Corner Pond is a case knife dealer and carries numerous used knives as well. Stop by and let the friendly staff at Corner Pond help you today at 432 East Bernard Avenue, Greenville, Tennessee.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Eric Tilson Show, where we cover everything on the Tundra with the North Greene Husky football team. As always, I'm here with Huskies head coach Eric Tilson. So you've got Hancock County coming up this Friday. Hopping back on the bus, hitting the road to go up to Hancock County. A fun drive, I've heard, too. I hear that's a really fun drive.
Very fun drive. You can
I'm sure
sense
you're
all sarcasm out of that one.
I'm sure you're looking forward to that one, too. But it's a regional opponent. The games matter a little bit more now, as we talked about with Jellicoe 2 weeks ago. But is there any sense of urgency going into this game, being 0-1 in the conference and hitting the road for this matchup?
It's important. This is a must-win for us. So we got to go out. We got to put everything out there. So we're going to throw out our whole playbook to go get this one. So this one's important for us. It's a winnable game. If we go out and go execute, we can beat about anybody we've played, even so far. But we're going to find two mistakes, and football's a sport that the team makes the least amount of them will typically win the game. So we got to fine tune that. They've got a couple players in the backfield that can make some plays, but I think we can overwhelm them with speed, but we've got to become ready to play because it's a hard trip. Atmosphere is going to be a little weird because they're doing construction on their stadium, so they have asked all fans that are going to the game to bring lawn chairs. So it's
everything keeps getting even more weird this year.
So we got an email about that. There's no visitor bleachers. So there are visitor bleachers, just no seats in it. I've seen the film on it. It's fascinating watching. And then, of course, Sneedville, there's nothing to do except go to a Friday night football game. So there's going to be a ton of people there. So that's why I say it's going to be an interesting atmosphere, and we got to be prepared and ready for that. And I'm sure it's about 10 degrees colder up there than it is here. So it might actually feel like fall on Friday.
I'll be there Friday, so I can't wait to see these visitor bleachers.
Yes.
Bleachers. Can you even call them bleachers at this point?
I don't know. They're kind of like steps. I don't know what to call them.
No seats.
No seats.
I can't wait to see that because the way you're explaining it, I can't comprehend that. But you talk about their speed on offense too. What sets and what formations are they going to throw at you on offense?
Can I say normal? So I feel like we haven't played a normal offense all year. So they're in a spread set, so they're going to be in trips and 2x2, and they'll do some empty. So then I'll bring a tight end in the game, and that's still three detached receivers with tight end. So when I say more normal, kind of easier to line up.
Yeah.
It was easy to line up last night, but with all the misdirection stuff, you have that the week before. They play in the phone booth. Week before that, spread kind of normal stuff. Then, of course, you got flex bone, wing tee stuff. I felt like we haven't had a flow on defense, but our defense has done pretty well adjusting all of it, and that's high school football for you.
And what is their base defense that they usually run out of? I know they're going to change things around.
They're three down.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll plus the safety over, kind of like what we saw last night, week before. To our kids' credit, it didn't matter. 183 yards, no choke, being able to rush the ball, especially when time of possession was way out of our favor. So we just got to be physical up front and block the right guys. That was a big thing Friday night on a couple big plays. We're on the wrong dudes, which is able to cause some havoc in the backfield.
I know that we talked about there's a sense of urgency and it's a must-win situation too. What message are you going to send your team right before you go out there for kickoff to kind of get that in their minds?
About doing their job. The urgency comes down to the details and trusting your teammates. And it's hard to do when you're on a skid right now. I remember listening to former Atlanta Falcons head coach Mike Smith talk up at ETSU. He's an old ETSU alum. He's speaking up there, and he's talking about how you got to create rhythms and streaks. And he said, forget about what has happened. Let's start a new streak this week, starting a streak of one game. Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about going 1-0 this week. Nothing else matters. Just this week going 1-0, and it's a short week, but luckily for us, it kind of stays in rhythm. What we do high-low days anyway. So Monday's a high day for us because typically we have JV games, or if we don't have a JV game, we're full padded practice. The Tuesday's a low day, so today a lot of walkthrough type stuff, and then we're back to Wednesday's another high day, Thursday's walkthrough day, Friday's a high day. So we're kind of in that still that same rhythm. Mm-hmm. It's just as a coach, the preparation's real short because it's one of those things like some of our coaches have went ahead and prepped for Hancock County earlier, but as a coordinator, you don't want to watch too far ahead because I made that mistake as a college coach, was watching too many films ahead, and then all of a sudden when you get into the actual game, you're starting to mix up defenses and start forgetting, wait a minute, which defense did this? Was it the opponent we play next week or the opponent we're playing now. So you kind of really have to focus one at a time. So we got the film broken down, everything's ready to go that part, but now we're actually sitting down as a staff and actually now that the previous game over, now today's a big day to really game plan and evaluate, which is that part's short. For our kids, it's kind of in rhythm.
All right, your favorite question every week, end of every interview, 3 keys to success. What are they?
We got to tackle. We got to give relentless effort and play extra cup, make plays.
All right, same as always. That's all we got this week. It's a weird week. We've said that almost every week this year, though. I don't know if that's changed. Hopefully, knock on wood, from here on out, everything's normal.
I did get went to the Tennessee Austin Peay game. Whatever them Austin Peay coaches had before their game, they jumped for 4 hours.
Yes,
I could not
did.
believe how much energy they had. I was just like, I need to channel that. And my wife said, buy a bunch of towels and just start waving them everywhere to get some energy going. So I was like, we'll do whatever's necessary.
Have a meeting with their coaches to see what you need to implement into your coaching staff
I
now.
know their coach is younger than I am.
No.
He's full of energy.
Maybe need to drink from the fountain of youth, get some extra caffeine.
That's what this is for.
Drink an extra cup every day or on game days
Went to
too.
bed about 1:30 last night, so I'm on fumes right now.
I'd say so with the week that you've had and it being a game night too. But you got another game coming up this Friday. It'll be at Hancock County, 7:30. Which one is it?
7:30.
7:30 kickoff time. That's at least normal. So
Yes.
hopefully from here on out it's normal. But you never know with the season it's been so far. But you can bank on one thing: 7:30 kickoff in Sneedville. North Greene Huskies facing off against Hancock County. It'll be a Region 1 1A game. So if you're able to make the trip up there, make it up there. Enjoy the game. That's all I've got for you this week, Coach.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for sitting down with me again. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Eric Tilson Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.